Well, welcome to Cover 2 TV. We're going to be covering the NFC South once again, continuing our draft analysis. We're going to start off with last year's Super Bowl runners-up, the Atlanta Falcons, who took Takk McKinley with their first pick, the 26th overall pick, trading up there from number 31 with the Seattle Seahawks. This guy's a pass rusher, isn't he?
Yeah, he had speed. That's what they wanted. You know, Atlanta, it's a young defense. It's built on speed. We saw that in the Super Bowl. They were doing well. They just ran out of steam. Basically, they were tired at the end. Takk McKinley. So if you watch the draft, he's the guy who came with a giant picture of his grandma. He done
really great speech.
Done the huge speech, and he was swearing. It was like a WWE style promo. As a player,
a lot of love for him after that, though, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Mate. He put, heart on his sleeve and all that. And if F-bombs live on telly are always funny, aren't they? But I like him. I don't love him. Good motor for a start. He tries hard. He gets single blocked a lot. Mm-hmm. You can get him one-on-one against decent linemen, which isn't ideal because he's going to come up against better linemen and better blockers. I imagine that I don't think he'll start every down. They've already got Vic Beasley there. They've got a decent rotation. He'll probably come in on sub packages. Obvious passing situations. For now, they obviously love him because you trade up 5 places to make sure they got him. I like him. I don't love him. I think it's a value-ish pick, And it was almost a case of, well, they had to get a pass rusher because they were all going off the board and stuff. I'm not sure, I'll be honest. I love the character and you love the engine and you love the kid. The actual on-field performance, I think, is spotty. But if he's just going to be a sub-package player, not of his passing downs player, it's probably worth it. I'm just not that sure.
I was reading some stuff about him, and one of the articles I was reading was about analysing his game, and particularly a game against Stanford last season. Now, he had 15 one-on-ones in that game and only won 2 of them, and he's pancaked quite a lot of penalties as well.
He ends up on the floor.
A little bit of a worry. But again, like we've said in previous videos, if they like him and they've gone out and got him and they think that they can make something of him, it's now down to the coaching staff to prove that they're good at their job. So they've seen the physical attributes that they like, and now it's about good coaching, and we'll see how his career progresses.
Absolutely, and I think Dan Quinn's outstanding. I think he's an amazing head coach. What they've done with that team in just a few years is amazing. They're building a young defence built up predicated on speed, and they just had another piece. So I can see why he fits. I'm just not that sure on the player myself.
Yeah, well, we're gonna look at there now. The 4th round pick 30 of that round, 136th overall. Sean Harlow, offensive guard. Do you think he's going to be a starter?
I think he's got a chance to start. Yeah, Matt Ryan sneakily took a lot of hits last year.
105 sacks, I think it was.
105, he got hit a lot. It might have been hits more than...
Times, I'm sorry, 105 hits. Yeah,
he got 105 sacks would be a lot. But no, 105 hits.
Ridiculous.
Well, he gets the ball out, but he's still getting hit at the end of the day. It's still taking a toll. And that was a sneaky problem for the Falcons. He did take a bit of a beating, and he was brilliant. He was the MVP of the league, and deservedly so. That their offense were absolutely flying. But yeah, I think he goes in, he at least gets a shot at it. He's not going in as a clear backup. He'll go to training camps to compete, and I think there's a good chance that a 6'4", 300-pound guard, it sounds pretty good just on the measurables and stuff. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm an expert at analysing 4th round offensive linemen. I do find it can be difficult, but what you see of him, he looks like a fundamentally sound guy. Again, coach him up. I think he's got a chance to start at least, which is, if you get a starter with your 4th round pick, you've had an absolute blinder.
Yeah, too right. And we'll go on to the 149th pick overall now. It's the Monte Casey, isn't it? Nickel corner, you thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. And I like this pick because we talked about before about Takk McKinley fits the mould. He fits the mould. They love rotating their guys in and out. They love sending different pass rushes from all mad angles, and they had a good cornerback group last year and they had a good secondary. It's going to get even better. Desmond Trufant's back fit, which is huge because he's amazing. Add another nickel corner in. So this guy will come in again, obvious passing downs. Atlanta are doing the in vogue thing of smaller guys in the middle of the field. So they've got who can cover and also stop the run and also blitz. And he's another one of those. I do like that pick.
Just on that, I just want to touch something that you mentioned there. Now, we've seen over the last few years defences being predicated more on speed and stuff, and obviously we've seen the return of the power back as well and the power running game. Now, do you think that it's going to be, if Atlanta have moved towards that, do you think we're going to see more teams go power running against them?
That's what I do, yeah, you should. The Patriots wanted to do that in the Super Bowl, you remember, but then LeGarrette Blount fumbled and Bill Belichick took him out the game, and they just dumped everything off to James White. All game James White was probably I think probably should have been the Super Bowl MVP. I know Tom Brady got it. I had to give it to James White. But if you can... I think it swings around a lot, isn't it, mate? So if you go forward in terms of, right, we're going to put speed and smaller guys on defence, the offence are just going to power run you, and then vice versa. They're going to... If you put your big guys in, they're going to bring the small guys on offense. So it is a game of, you know, almost cat and mouse, isn't it? And it will happen to them. And the ideal thing is to have both, be able to cover both. If you can have your small guys on the field and be able to stop the run, you're fine. And I think Atlanta will be. I think they'll take a step back on offense because it was an all-time offense and it's hard to repeat that. But I think they will get better on the defensive side of the ball. So it might even end up as a wash.
Okay. So we're going to move on to a team that's improved steadily over the last couple of years, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They went to 9-7 last season. Yeah. With their first pick, a player you really like, tight end O.J. Howard.
Love him. I thought he was a top 10 pick for sure. I still think the Titans should have took him at 5 when they took Corey Davis, and again, Corey Davis is a good player. I would have took O.J. Howard and went 2 tight ends with Delaney Walker, and then from there, eventually had a replacement for him. I spoke to, again, if I go back to the channel guys, and I spoke with Charlie, Alabama fan, about O.J. Howard a lot. They didn't use him an awful lot. They used him a lot to run block, which is fine. But watch him in the championship game, he had like 250 yards receiving. He just dominated from tight end, you know what I mean? He was unbelievable. And again, I love tight ends who can block and catch and do both well. He's an absolute freak athlete. You know, 6'6", 250, he's huge, jumps out the building, runs fast, 3-cone drill, exceptional. And that's an amazing pick. So they've already got Cameron Brate, who's a sneakily underrated tight end, I think. So defending that, how do you defend this now? So you've got Mike Evans, you've got 2 awesome tight ends. Still got Vince Jackson, I think, still there. They've got a running back coming out the backfield. They've just got Jameis is going to have. He's going to be delighted. The offensive line's an issue, and if you look through it, they didn't take one lineman, which I think they really should have took a lineman because they need one because their line is terrible. But they chose not to. Fine. If you watch the draft, as soon as the Bucs get on the clock, a lot of teams are winding the clock down. They threw that pick in straight away. They must have been laughing their heads off when O.J. Howard was on the board. They had no desire to trade that pick away. Nothing. We'll just go and get him. I can see why, Chris. I think he's the next in-line stud tight end. I think it's an amazing pick.
Another young guy they've picked, actually, it was the 84th pick overall. It's Chris Godwin, wide receiver. He's had a massive year last year, and you know, he did it in the Rose Bowl as well, didn't he? Is this a guy that you can see coming in as part of the rotation, or do you think he's going to be maybe a wide receiver 3 or something like that? What do you think?
Yeah, I think they're going to go 2 tight end sets, which means he won't see the field a lot. Yeah. But I think as a backup, as a wide receiver 3 in different situations, yeah, he's good.
Big wide receiver at 6'1" as well.
Well, I was about to say, they're building like a basketball team there. You know, they've basically said to Jameis is a pretty inaccurate thrower. So what you surround him with big guys. So Mike Evans, who can go up and catch it. O.J. Howard can go and catch it. Chris Godwin's the same. You make up for it by, you know, if his passing radius is a bit open, get guys who can fill the space. I think it was a really good pick. I say the only worry for the Bucs, and I think, is that he didn't address the offensive line. I think that could come back and bite them in the arse. Yeah,
okay. Well, we'll move on now then, of course, to the New Orleans Saints' poor season last year, 7-9. First pick they went for was Marshawn Lattimore, cornerback, 6 foot, out of Ohio State. This is quite surprising that he fell to 11.
Again, and we spoke on previous videos, the run on quarterbacks and wide receivers pushed a lot of the top 10 defensive talent down to between 10 and 20. So they all fell, and he was one of them.
They'll be buzzing with this.
Yeah, great pick. I love it. He needed to do something, Chris, and he's an amazing player. He really is. His ball skills are unbelievable. Catches everything, gets his hands to everything. Clean, very clean. Doesn't give many penalties away, which is a major issue. For example, other cornerbacks in college especially get a bit grabby. Yeah. The officials in college kind of let things go a bit more. They're less strict, and you see loads of hold, and it never gets called. He doesn't. Issue again, 1 year starter. Does that bother you? Maybe. But, you know, for a pick 11, mate, it's a world. The only thing is, and we'll move on to the next pick, is Ryan Ramczyk. Now, that's the pick that they got for Brandon Cooks, actually, from the Patriots. I don't understand why you give Brandon Cooks away to then take a tackle when apparently the whole reason for letting Cooks go so you could get picks to fill your defensive up. They were actually on the phone to sign Reuben Foster at the time, and they had him on the phone going, "We're going to pick you," and the 49ers leaped in front of him with a trade up and took him, which is, it happens. But then have they
ripped the plan up at this point?
All I can think is, they've got a board, best player available. All right, he's gone, right, the best player, which commendable. I understand it. they've got a good line anyway. So Ryan Ramczyk's a good tackle, don't get me wrong, you'll probably start, and that's fine. But does that really address your defensive problems? I'm not so sure. They tried to do it later on, Marcus Williams and stuff. They took a few linebackers later on, didn't they?
But Sanzoli, Trey Hendrickson.
Good, but not great. I'm amazed, for example, that they didn't do something different at 32. For me, what they've basically done, they've just traded away Brandon Cooks to bring in an offensive tackle who's decent, but not amazing. That doesn't seem like good value to me.
Brandon Cooks, is he 23 years old?
He's still got 2 years left on his rookie deal. Yeah. He's going to be amazing in New England. You might as well pencil that in now. We all know it. I found that hugely surprising. That when I saw the thing, I thought maybe they were trying to get Malcolm Butler for that pick. I don't understand the thought process unless it is a simple thing of
best guy available.
Or you panic. Sometimes, if you think you're getting a guy, the clock, someone jumps ahead of you and you're on the clock.
Hey, look, we've all played fancy football. And you know what?
The clock's ticking down. The
clock's ticking down and you're in a 30-second draft.
Tick the ladders at the top.
Yeah.
It could be that, mate. It could be as simple as they thought they were getting Reuben Foster. Reuben Foster, the 49ers jump ahead, take him, and then in scramble mode. Can we trade the pick? Well, we've got 5-10 minutes left. No one wants it. Take the tackle.
Regardless of all that, and I agree with what you're saying, Drew Brees is going to be happy that they've got a day one start, so the right tackle position.
Yeah, but they had a good line in. The line was not on this. There was nothing wrong with the line. Obviously, they lost Johnny Evans, didn't he? He's now signed for the Packers, but I don't think they needed the tackle. It must purely be a talent thing, which I commend. Again, I do. I'm a big fan of best player available. It just seems confused logic to trade away your stud wide receiver to take a lineman. I don't understand that, to be honest.
Okay, well, with their fourth pick, it's round 3, pick 67 overall. They've actually taken Alvin Kamara, running back. Now, they traded for a second round pick in 2018, I believe, for this one.
Honestly, the Saints do in my head, and they just kick cans down the road. So they kick contract negotiations down the road, and they kick draft picks down the road. It's no wonder you can't get your good players and your defensive players in, because they just keep doing things like this. I love Alvin Kamara, the player. I think he's brilliant. I think he's amazing. I'm surprised. There must be a reason why he fell, because I thought he was a first round talent, but maybe it's a size issue. He's only a small guy and stuff. But
5'10", I mean, he's not that small.
No, I mean, like, slight maybe is a better way. But he again catches passes out the backfield, does all that kind of stuff. But now they've got Mark Ingram, Adrian Peterson, and Alvin Kamara. So I'm not sure how that dynamic's going to play out. I just find it odd that you trade away your second round pick next year when your defense is terrible. Why? I don't understand the logic.
I wonder if there's any. There can't be cap issues or anything like that, can there? They can't. Not these type of picks won't be affecting that type of stuff.
I just think Sean Payton can't help himself. Yeah. I genuinely think Sean Payton just can't help himself, and he just sees a shiny new toy. And don't get me wrong, he'll be a contributing player. He really will, because he's really good. I don't see that. They just keep kicking the can down the road, and they keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And eventually it's going to bite them in the arse one day. They must know that, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Payton doesn't care. And one day he knows he's going to leave, and that might be the year when you've almost got to take your beatings almost. I mean, you've got to accept the fact that you're up against the cap, and you give away loads of draft picks, and you've got to have a rebuilding year. And I think Sean Payton's worried that with Drew Brees' age, let's keep pushing that, and eventually he might go. And then I might go as well. I might go when he goes, and then someone else can deal with that problem. That's the vibe I get.
It's an interesting thing, and look, I can't imagine that's it, because I think one thing, and I've criticised Sean Payton on this show already, but he loves the Saints. I think he's got their best interest at heart. Okay. So I do think that he probably thinks about it. But look, we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're moving on now to the 6 and 10 Carolina Panthers. That's disgusting that they fell that far, to be honest with you. Now, their first pick, Christian McCaffrey,
love him.
A great running back, an easy top 3, probably second best running back in the draft. My worry over this pick is that he doesn't suit that offense as it stood last season or the season before.
No, absolutely. And if you look at the second pick, you might as well grow that it's okay to Samuel, receiver. He's kind of a similar scat back, dump off type play. I mean, he's very similar to Christian McCaffrey. So to me, it signifies a change in the offense. It's got to. Christian McCaffrey's an unbelievable athlete. He'll run. I think he can run power. Mm-hmm. I think he's extremely patient. He can play all 3 downs. Good.
We're not talking Le'Veon Bell patient, but
I mean, no, Le'Veon Bell's the gold standard, but he's that type of running back. He's not going to bruise through you. He's going to find his holes and get to it. Maybe more LaShawn McCoy is probably a better example. Better pass catcher though. He could have been a receiver in this draft. He got drafted in the second round as a slot guy. Amazing, love him. But if you group him in with Curtis Samuel, they're the power run game that Carolina used last year. You're not going to do it with those two. Yeah. It's going to be different. They must be doing more to keep Cam in the pocket and maybe little dump off passes and stuff like that. They don't possess a great receiving core, so maybe it's something to do with that as well, where they're going to shorten the game a bit, stop Cam running as much, because they've said as much as they want him to. It should be a part of their offense because he's so good at it, but you can't. He's getting battered.
You're looking at
he's getting smashed.
The franchise guy. He needs to be around in 8-10 years time.
And he gets hurt quite often, and he's getting battered basically. So I get it.
We know that Rivera simplified that offense when he first went into there.
Rightly so.
And yeah, of course, coming out of college, we got to a position where 2 years ago he was MVP of the league, nearly won the Super Bowl, blah 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 blah. Now they're moving away, and I think they're showing a little bit more trust in him, because to evolve and maybe change the philosophy so much says to me that they've got so much trust in Cam Newton, and rightly so. He's performed brilliantly over the last couple of years and stuff. So it's very, very interesting that they're moving away from these big, strong guys who can go out and get the ball to these short underneath routes, because it's a completely different type of quarterback play that does that. It's it's very, very difficult. I wonder how he'll deal with that, but they've obviously got a lot of confidence in him.
Yeah, and I predicted the McCaffrey one in the mock, but the Samuel one I didn't. That blew my mind. That's you could have ran your offense quite a lot with Christian McCaffrey. To then bring Samuel in, it has to signal a philosophy change, because they're very similar players, like I say. So, of all the teams next year who are going to look completely different on offense, especially, I think the Panthers are one of them, and time will tell if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll soon find out.
Okay, with their third pick then, Taylor Moton, offensive guard. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Their line needed upgrading.
It did, yeah. Like I mentioned before, Cam was taking an absolute pounding. I think, I love him. Good player. Again, technically sound. That's the main thing about him. And he's come up against good pass rushers, and he's done well. I actually think he might play right tackle. I think you might see him actually go out to right tackle, because their tackle situation isn't great at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up out there again. He's massive, by the way. He's huge. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He's big guy.
19.
Big dude. And maybe they use him to set the edge on the right, and you might just run McCaffrey right. You might run Samuel right behind him, because you don't want linebackers having free hits at Christian McCaffrey and having free hits at Samuel, because they're small. They're not tiny. They're like 5'11", 6 foot, but they're not stocky. You don't want them taking hits. I wouldn't be surprised if Martin comes in and starts day one. Yeah. Okay,
so last season it finished Falcons, Bucks, Saints, Panthers. This, I think, moving into this season is going to be a very, very strong and
I agree.
Close division. Who do you... I'll tell you what, I'll go first, because you've gone first a few times now. I'm going to say that it's going to be the Falcons. I'm going to go a huge jump up for the Panthers.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go Saints. Then I'm going to go Bucks. But you know what? It's
hard, man.
It's tough. It's going to be so close.
Yeah, I think the worst team might be 7-9, 8-8 in this division. I think that we're going to be one of those. I'm going to say Panthers, Falcons, Bucks, Saints.
Wow. Okay.
But that doesn't mean the Falcons are going to get worse. I think it means the Panthers are going to get a whole lot better. They were 6-10 last year. They were better than 6-10. They were quite unlucky with different injuries and different calls.
Even after all we've said about how the offense is changing, you still think they're going to be that much better? Because that's a shout. And look, I agree. I think they're going to be getting better as well.
Maybe it's Christian McCaffrey home. I love him a lot. Maybe it's just, and I love Cam Newton. I'm a big Cam Newton fan. A lot of people, take him or leave him. I think he's amazing. And I trust that. I trust the coaching staff. I trust all. Listen, you could throw any order of those four out, and I wouldn't be completely shocked. I'd be surprised if the Saints won it, because I don't trust the defense again. But you've got Drew Brees, so Drew Brees can win any game at any time, can't he? I think it's going to be the strongest division. I think it's the best division in terms of overall quarterback talent for sure. For example, Jameis Winston is the worst quarterback in that division. Yeah. You could put him in other divisions, he'd be the best. So, yeah, really, really strong division. And they're going to batter. The only issue these guys might have is getting a wild card out of that division might be tough, because they might all take games off each other. I'm going to say I think the Panthers and the Falcons make the playoffs, but I am not 100%, I'll be honest.
All right, well, if you agree or disagree with anything we've said, then of course, as always, let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to give the video a like if you've enjoyed it and you've got friends who are into the NFL, then do give the channel a share as well. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to join us, of course, for the NFC West draft analysis, which will be our next video on the channel tomorrow.